Perhaps I was talking when I should have been listening. Perhaps I was talking when I should have been listening.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. I would like to welcome back all of you to the room and also our online participants. Welcome. Ong, can you check how many? 23 online participants, which is our network member. Welcome. So this afternoon, we will discuss about our network. We will know also about the update on recent development and governance within our network. And also we will highlight also upcoming opportunities coming up with the network and how the network members can engage with us. So I think it's very important to set aside some time to also discuss about our network. So we, as a network member, all of us here mostly are network members. So I hope that you realize that you own this network. So you decide where the network will go. You decide on how to expand our network, how to make it more relevant in the policy landscape of the Mekong, for example. And that's why we have this session today. I think that's sum up the objective of our session today. So for the first session, I would like to check if our online participants can hear us well. Yes, I think, hopefully.
Clear.
No complaint. So, okay, that's great. That's great. So you see also, you will later see maybe our technician can also pan also the camera, so also the online people can see that we have actually many in the rooms, and we have 23 online. So the first session, I would like to invite our distinguished steering committee, SUMERNET Steering Committee Chair, Achan Chantana, to give a bit of opening remarks to our network members.
Another opening? And I'm acting. I'm not yet a real chair. Okay, good afternoon once again. This is not an opening, but maybe I can reflect on what's in the mind of the SC members. I think I've just realized that we have 500 members. 500. That is something. But whether it is meaningful or not, we probably have to find out from our this afternoon session. I think with our intention, the SUMERNET want to reach out to like-minded and organization and want to see more cross-disciplinary activities. So I think linking to the network is quite fundamental for our research and policy nexus. 500 members, I think the task in the future, that is something that we have to get to know more of our members. I think know one another as well, and connect better to our activities. This will be one of the examples that we will check on the common interest of our network members. Perhaps we can engage more meaningfully if we getting to know one another better. I hope that this afternoon will be a kick-off activity to expand the horizon of linkage between research and policy through the interaction with networks. So I hope you won't be too full up with your lunch and still have, be alert and keep awake throughout the afternoon. Thank you very much. Look forward for the interaction. Thank you.
Thank you, Achan Chantana, for very encouraging remarks. So, as you know, as Dr. Chantana mentioned, that we have 500 members. So that is something. And our network has been here in the region for 17 years. So that's also something. That means that we have to somehow have a remark, a mark in this region somehow, right? So that's why we want to explore in what way we can be influential network in this region. So, but I would like to know more about the participants of this meeting. So first I would like to ask our SSC members to stand up. Our current SUMERNET steering committee members to stand up. Okay, let's give them a round of applause. So these are the leaders of our network. So you can, if you get to see them and talk to them, so you know the faces of the leaders of the networks now, right? So, okay, please have a seat. I would like to also acknowledge our former SSC member. They have been with us, our network, developing our network and expanding our network until we reach our current size, 500, and our lasting period of existence in this region. So I would like to ask our former SSC to stand up, please. Dr. Singh. Give them a round of applause. I think I saw Madam Navi, no? Oh, she will come, okay. And also there is some former SSC online, I guess. Dr. Wan. Okay, so, okay, Dr. Wan, so you can see him here. Doctor, yes. How are you, Dr. Wan? See he still wear the polo shirt of SUMERNET. He's been our long-time leader who guide us. Yeah, so Madam Navi, our former also steering committee. Nice to have you. Former chair of the steering committee. So you see that this network is guided by, yes? Dr. Louis Lebel. Achan Louis Kap. There. Can you show your video, Achan Lui Kap?
Oh, okay. Hello, everyone. This is Louis here from Chiang Mai.
Yes, okay. That's Achan Lui Lebel from Chiang Mai University. And then I see Mr. Win Ong also. Mr. Win Ong? No? Okay. Kavipon, no. Okay. So I think, yeah, basically we have a list of leaders of the region, these experts and well-known researchers who have been guiding us throughout the years. I would like to also acknowledge we have fellows also among us, young professional who have been willing to spend some time with us, and also basically young reporters, young member of our network. Can you stand up if you are in the room? Yes. This is our young people. So we have young blood also within our network. So, not only old people in this network. Okay, so I guess that's it in the room. I think we'll get to know more. Can you run we would like to know also who's in the online, also in this room. So we'll run the poll, Vivox poll. Can you, yeah. Please show. You can, yeah, okay. So same, you can scan this or go to the Vivox app. You can enlarge that. Yeah. Click. Okay, first go into the app. It's a different number than this morning. Okay. So I hope also the online participants can also participate, because we want to know also who are attending this meeting. Okay, you can make it small. Okay, just make it small. Click outside. Yeah, then you can show the result. Yeah. Okay, so Vietnam always dominating, huh? Wow. Okay. Well, in fact, that most of our network members from the 500 are Vietnamese. So that explains, yeah. They are very active. Okay, how many we got? Okay, so I think we move on to the next question. So we just would like to know whether you are, mostly I think it's from Thailand. So where are you calling from? Are you joining from this meeting? I just want to know, of course most of us will be coming from Thailand because we are in this room. But I also want to know if, yeah. Yes, of course. Yeah, I guess most of us are in the room. Next. How young are you? Right? Yeah. Okay, so that's encouraging actually. we have more under 35, so it's even catching up with the 35 and above. That's great. Okay. Now the last question, in maximum of 3 words, what is your vision of SUMERNET as research policy network? What is your vision? The best is 1 word, but if you want to express more than 1 word, then we suggest maybe maximum 3 words. And we will form a word cloud out of this. What is your vision? What is your aspiration for SUMERNET? What do you want SUMERNET to achieve?
The questions are only up to 4.
Yeah. Okay, I'll give you more time on this one. Maybe you need to think a bit. Yeah, you can show now. Okay. I see networking, effective network, right? So I see the policy engagement, a lot of policy, a lot of think tanks, frontier research. Oh, interesting. Also, some people mention communication, so very interesting. So basically, although we call ourselves SUMERNET Sustainable Mekong Research Network, it's not about research, all about research. I think it's more about research, policy, communication. And yeah, I think we should keep that in mind when we discuss today about our network. Okay, I think that's it. Yes. Okay, I think we get to know more about the participants today. So I would like to, it's very encouraging to see a lot of diversity and a lot of commitment actually to see our network to grow more and to become effective network in the region. So for the next session, I would like to invite Dr. Pak Day. He is also a young SUMERNET SC, a very high-profile researcher from the region. He will cover about to update us about the recent development and governance of our network. Please.
Thank you, Agus, and good afternoon, everybody online and here. I'm just going to quickly give you a short presentation on what Agus was saying already. Can we have the presentation, please? So this is just a very quick update on the recent development and governance of the network. And of course, I'm doing this on behalf of all the steering committee member. So it's just not coming from myself, but yes, it's an update on what we have done as a network over the last decade, actually. Next slide, please. Next one, please. So, and Agus already mentioned this, that we actually have more than 530 members at the moment, and this, as you have seen, has grown actually quite a lot since the beginning of the network, which was about 10 years ago. And I think the important thing that was mentioned this morning was that this is a network that is very much homegrown, as we would say, that it's all the researchers, the boundary partners that are in the region. It's very encouraging to see the number keep going up. And I think in this slide, in terms of diversity, as you can see, we do have members mostly, of course, from the Mekong country, but we also have other countries representing in the network. For example, we have our networks that are also from China, and also the networks member that are also working in the Mekong, but not from the region. But overall, the picture that we are showing you here is that it is a very diverse network that we have, and it has grown almost double in terms of membership over the last 10 years. Next slide, please. So just very quickly on how is the network governed. So very much this is a network that is very much guided by our members. The three things that you can see from the diagram here is that we have the steering committee. You have seen already the members that just stood up just now. So these would be the steering committee member. We have the secretariat, Agus and the team. And also we have everybody here who is actually members. And also I would like to point out that the steering committee are also network members. So we are just given the opportunity to represent the network so that we can actually organize activities such as this meeting that we have this week. But overall, as you can see that the network, we are very much just working together to make sure that all the activities that we would like to achieve would be achieved through, for example, the day-to-day work is very much allocated to the secretariat who help us with all the organizing activities and all the activities that is to do with your research and supporting the day-to-day business of the network. And then we have the steering committees. We do actually meet quite often, most actually for the last 2 years, very much online and a lot of email exchange to discuss the activities that we can do in order to support our network. And of course, the biggest component of the structure is the members. So we do actually very appreciate the support and the engagement that our members actually have contributed to the network itself. Next one, please. As you can see, we also have a diverse group of the steering committee member that are mostly representing the countries in the Mekong. We also have the members of the steering committees that are from China. And this is just to reflect the work that the network is doing, that in addition to the research that we are doing in the region, we also have some partnerships in terms of research that are conducted in China or with our partners in China. I think one of the things that should be highlighted in this structure that is different from the previous structure is that we do actually have young professionals in the network starting very recently. And I think the ideas or the objective is very clear that we would like to engage young people in how the network is run. Next one, please. So I think Agus and a lot of the speakers have mentioned already that a lot of the work is actually focusing on strengthening the ownership, because as we said earlier today in the morning and also just now that it is a very much a homegrown network. So we are always focusing on how do we strengthen the ownership in terms of the network that we have. And these are some of the things that we have done, or at least like trying to do in order to create this ownership of the network by all the members. For example, we have organized activities that are enhancing the steering committee and also like making sure that this is a true network leader. And then we also have the representative of the network member that more or less represent all the countries that are in the Mekong, but also, as you can see, in China. We also do a lot of activities that is very much aiming at enhancing the network membership and active engagement of the network member. The meeting that we have this morning and the meeting that we are having now is very much trying to achieve that objective. We also do a lot of activities that are aiming at enhancing the opportunity for the network member to contribute in an advisory role. I'm sure that you have seen or you have received a lot of email from Agus and his team asking and also sharing opportunities so that we can actually engage all the member in all the decisions or the activities that we do as a network. Also, we have continued to make sure that the Secretariat have very clear functions in terms of the day-to-day support to the network, to the steering committee. We actually have discussed a lot in terms of the role, responsibilities, and making clear what we are all contributing to that, so that like in the end, it is a regional network that is very much owned by all the members. And last, it's actually, we also do a lot and also still exploring what are the options that we can do in order to improve the governance structure of the network. And so, of course, we are always very welcome to any suggestions, to any ideas that our network can bring forward, we would very much consider all of the inputs that you provide, because as mentioned, this is a network that is owned by everybody in the room and also online. Next one, please. So this is just a quick idea in terms of like what we have done for this year with regards to trying to strengthen the ownership of the network. So for example, we, I think Agus already spoke about this already, that we continue to make sure that we have steering committee members that can actually provide advice, recommendations on how to improve the network. We had, I think I also mentioned that we had a process of selecting the steering committee, which is very much open to all the network. The network actually are the one that voted for the steering committee members. So it's very open and transparent. And also what has changed, and I think I mentioned already that in the steering committee at the moment, we do have the young professional that were also actually selected through the open voting by all the members in the network. In terms of the enhancing member, in terms of enhancing the network membership, Agus continued to, and also like his team, not just Agus actually, the secretariat team actually provide a lot of updates, a lot of funding opportunities, and any type of opportunities to the network members. And I think you can see this in the a lot of the outreach by the secretariat team through email, also online through like social medias with regards to opportunities that would be of interest to our network. And I think I already spoke a lot about this a little bit already, that we also look at different activities that we can do in order to enhance the opportunity for the network member to contribute. And this very much, again, the network is owned by everybody here in the room, online, so any suggestions that you would like to bring forward, please do. And as you can see that in the steering committee, you have the members that represent all the countries, so please do talk to them if you would like to bring any ideas, suggestions forward in order to make sure that we can continue to improve the way that we organize ourselves. Next one, please. Up, okay, that's all. But again, this is very much just a very quick recap of the governance of our network, and we are very much open to any questions, suggestions that you would like to make. And of course, I also invite all the steering committee members to help answer any questions that would be coming. So please feel free to ask if you have any question. Yes. Yes, Dr. Chantana. Yes.
So actually, in the last election, we invited about 494 voters, Achan. So only 127. Can we show again the slide, please, Kap? Yeah. So yeah, so 127 voted, and 38 voters they view the actual candidates, but didn't vote. 326 just no response. Yeah. No view also. Otherwise they'll be recorded here. Yeah. So I think maybe hopefully we can do better than this next time somehow. So yeah.
Maybe I can also add to this. And I think a lot of the time, as you can see, that the election process is very open to everybody, but we continue to have the challenge of actually having all the members to participate in the voting. As Agus mentioned, that we do have members that view the email and view like the candidates and so on, but they didn't actually go through in terms of actually doing the voting. And as also Dr. Chandana also mentioned, that we do have members that are in the network, but not as active as we would like them to be. And so if you do have any suggestions in terms of like how do we improve the activeness of our members, that would be very welcome. We, I think, said that we have about over 500 members that are in the network, but I would say around 100 to 150 are very active, and then we have the rest that are in the member network but haven't been very active. So this always been like one of the agenda that we talked about in the steering committee. How do we make the rest of all the network member to be more active in the network? And I think we did actually conduct a survey with all the members that are in the network to basically very bluntly check that do they still want to be in the network? Are they considering themselves to be still members of the network? And we do get the response that they do consider themselves to be members of the network, that they would like to continue the membership. But the issues that we face is that they are not as active as we would like them to be.
So I think maybe I would add a little bit more. I mean, I understand that we have very diverse members, and we have come from many disciplines. So so currently, SUMERNET is focusing on water insecurity, and this may also limit the the kind of the activeness of the member, because they only see water issues being discussed. But I should remind that SUMERNET is, as our title is sustainable development, is for sustainable development. So we can discuss about just about anything under sustainable development in the Mekong region. So I should remind that also, that we are not only focusing on water insecurity. Any comments from online? Okay.
So we do have a comment from online by David Blake from the UK, working from Vietnam. He was just saying that in terms of the activeness of the membership, maybe it's just to do with the poor state of participatory democracy in the region. I'm not going to go into that question, but yes, thank you for the comment.
May I?
Yes, please.
Yeah, actually, I'm the one who did not work in the water at all. I work mainly on the land issue. But then it's like, but I'm interested to know how it's going on in this region. That's why I step in. And also, I think that is sometimes when I see the boundary, like Mekong, I was thinking that I should be part of that or not, because I never work in Mekong at all. But then because my own interest that, so I just want to extend my network to here. So that's why I'm joining for this, because it's not direct, but it's indirect that I work with some of my colleagues working in UNESCO ISE in the Netherlands, that they have the expertise for water very much. And I also want to bring at the bridge for this thing to our network. Yeah, thanks.
Okay. Anything more?
Yes.
Oh.
Okay, yes. For me, I think it's quite important for us to have time to sit together, to work together in terms of the SUMERNET network, because SUMERNET network is like a second home. Yeah, we work together. I'm happy to work with the SUMERNET. Before that, I don't know what is SUMERNET, so I become the SSC member. I learn everything, I share everything, and I know everything, not for myself. I learn from you as well. So I encourage you, your friend who are the one that a member of SUMERNET, please encourage them and try to work with us to support us as well. Yes, thank you.
Okay. Of course, like we we'll continue to have this discussion on how do we encourage our members to be more active. And so again, if you do have any suggestions in terms of how can we achieve this, please, of course, come forward. We would be very happy to discuss this. This is an issue that we continue to discuss in the steering committee member meeting. But of course, we do have other agenda to go into. So I
Yes.
would like to hand it back to Agus. But again, on the issues of how to
Yes.
be, how do we encourage our members to be more active? We are always welcome to any suggestions. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Pakde. So very useful session. I think, can we have applause? I think it's very important to recognize that also the role of SSC is very important here. So I think in the coming near future, we will think on how the SSC can engage more with the network member of their country. Because after all, they are representing their country network members. So I think we need to think more about how the SSC can engage more with their own member of the same country. So I think we can move to the next session. We can, yeah. Sorry? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Can we, yeah. So the next session will be on, we are reporting on the SUMERNET research and policy engagement activity. Next slide. So basically we will cover about research, what research and policy engagement in SUMERNET. We will cover about our flagship program that we are involved actively in, SUMERNET for All and Mekong Think Tank. And we will also cover a bit about how do we, how do we expect that the SUMERNET will have a policy influence through these research and engagement activities. So as you know, a key component of SUMERNET work is actually to bridge science and policy. That's our trademark since the beginning. And how do we bridge science and policy? First, by choosing a research question that is directly relevant to the policy issues or debates. And then secondly, we engage also with the decision makers in all aspects of our activities, especially research. Build capacity of researchers and on research and policy engagement for inclusive and sustainable development. So we also build capacity of our members and our partners. We also support collaboration, networking, and knowledge sharing among members. So that's why we, we always have this. We would like to have more of these events where you can, explore collaboration or partnership among each other, because the value of the network is actually that. Actually, you can find partnership or collaboration potential. So about the first program that we are currently in is the SUMERNET for All. As you know, mostly you are here actually supporting this program, and our focus is on improving policy and practice in reducing water insecurity by conducting collaborative research, engaging with policy process, and promoting scientifically sound research and innovation. So while considering gender and social equality, human rights, conflict sensitivity, environmental integrity, and poverty reduction. So that's a lot. But yes, it is the value of what we are trying to achieve, not only on the environmental issues, but also addressing also gender and social equity within that kind of policy issue. Next. So you know the research team, you are familiar with this research team mostly. Next. We have also many research projects. So this is the research and policy engagement that we are currently implementing within our network under SUMERNET for All. You see here the number of grants that we have now is 29. And you see that the number of researchers active now is 192. So that's a big number of researchers. And I think you see the map is all over the Mekong. So I think, it's expected that SUMERNET can give a very significant contribution to the sustainable development with this kind of research and engagement activities. So to be more specific, we have what we call rapid response project. The rapid response project are projects that are responding to specific policy or demands that can be delivered quickly to respond to that demand. 10 collaborative research project is the kind of project that is facilitating multi-country engagement or collaboration. Groundwater integrated resource assessment ongoing. 6 joint action projects ongoing. 2 small grants. Small grants is more outreach projects. So what you can do further beyond research, you want to engage more with the community or you want to engage more with the boundary partners, then the small grant is the kind of grant that is going to be useful. Engagement with 18 policy and research dialogues and other events at regional and international level in 2021. So that's kind of a significant number that engagement, policy and research dialogues activities that is from our SUMERNET Secretariat as well as our partners. Next. So this is probably maybe some of you the first time you see this. This is just actually new. If you see the period there is just July 2022. So we have been actually involved in this proposal that is going to be supported by DFAT, Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade of the Australian government. And the title of the program is Mekong Think Tanks. So as the title, you see that our objective is to actually empower national and regional knowledge-based policy influence organization. This is a broader definition than think tank. To perform effective and inclusive policy engagement and communication for change. So based on high quality research, advice, practical advice generated by the program and cross-learning among themselves. So this is a very new program. I think we are just in the stage of program design, and it will be expected that we will have more significant activities of research and engagement under this. You see many partners well known in the region are part of this, including our network. And we are having, pleasure to work with them. Next. Okay, so this I will just give a very short and very broad picture of what's going to happen under Mekong Think Tank program. For example, under component 1, we will kind of establish a kind of a alliance among the what we call knowledge-based influence policy organization. So this is including not only think tank, but also, for example, if an organization is trying to influence policy through knowledge, that would be part of this alliance. So that's under component 1. Component 2 will have 3 regional flagship studies on water and energy systems, and also water, energy, and climate change, actually. 3 regional flagship studies, 5 national rapid response research. So it's going to be country-specific rapid response research. And then we will have also informal and formal engagement of regional and bilateral policy and planning processes. That's component 3. Component 4, we will have also a really broader fellowship program. So we'll invite a lot of young professionals from different backgrounds, not only research, but policy engagement, also from communication background. And we'll have also training for capacity development on research and policy engagement, and also communication. So, yeah. So I guess that's, the future is promising for SUMERNET to have these 2 flagship programs working together. And we'll have more research and policy engagement activities in the future. So how do we see us influencing the policy? So this is what we have in SUMERNET. This is our approach in terms of policy influence in SUMERNET. So if you have a research project, then the inner circle within that circle is fully under your control. The funding, capacity of your staff is fully under your control. That's why there's a sphere of control. And then on outer circle than that, then you will have what you call boundary partners, right? So these boundary partners are the organization or even individuals that you work directly in the project. And then you expect that these boundary partners will influence other stakeholders outside of the circle. So this is a kind of approach that we use in SUMERNET. And we will continue to use also not only within SUMERNET for All, but also in our Mekong think tank program. Next. So how do we monitor policy influence? Right? We collect most significant change stories from partners and boundary partners. So this is how we kind of use the stories to kind of see what kind of a policy change that the research has or the policy engagement has impact. In SUMERNET for All, in 2022, we collected 55 stories in November 2021 until June 2022. And this is just one of the stories, that kind of stories that we collected from the boundary partner. In this case, it's a policymaker from Tonle Sap Authority. So this kind of stories kind of yes, help us to capture what kind of influence that we have through our research and policy engagement. I think that's the last one, right? So any question from our update on the research and policy engagement activities? There are a lot of things, I know, but maybe you would like to, suggest something that we can do more, or you would like to ask some clarification, please. Yes.
Thank you, Agus. I know it looks weird that I ask questions about this, but because we also just saw the detail of this Mekong think tank, we discussed it a little bit in the steering committee meeting, but didn't really go too much into detail. Maybe for the benefit of the network member, can you elaborate a little bit in terms of, you mentioned that the network members can also be part of the Mekong think tank. Is that correct? And how does that work? You need to sign up for another membership, or is it like just moving toward the Mekong think tank, or are we, you said we are keeping like two parallel network, isn't it? For the SUMERNET, for the Mekong think tank, or are we like merging it all together? Maybe just a little bit around that like arrangement.
I think the way we see it is that Mekong think tank program will strengthen our role as the regional influence organization, because I think the Mekong think tank will also link us up with other think tanks, for example, and other players in the region who are influencing policies. We don't see it as a separate network, for example, from SUMERNET, but I think we are looking for alliance type rather than network. So alliance is more not actually integrating two networks, but I think we are building alliance among us, influencing the policy landscape. And of course, any of you, the partners can also become member of. I think we are under scoping study right now to kind of see which organization is having work on influencing policy through knowledge in the region. So we are still under the scoping study right now. Yeah, but I'm sure that there will be, if there is any opportunity to build alliance, then organization can state that they want to join. Yes.
Thank you for your excellent presentation. I'm Chan On. I'm a Deputy Director in Land Fisheries Development Institute of Cambodia. I saw the presentation regarding to the Mekong think tank. Also have a component number 3 that will engage with the informal and formal engagement
Yeah.
of regional and bilateral policy,
Yes.
planning process, water, energy, and climate change.
Yeah.
I would like to address one thing that recent research of the Mekong Dam Monitor, that almost 11 dam upper Mekong from China, Laos, and also neighboring country over Cambodia also have one hydropower dam that extract water. It means almost 50% of
Yeah.
water volume in the
Right.
Mekong already absorbed by the upper developer. So it means if we have less water in the near future, but now currently the study already mentioned that 50% of the water absorbed from the upper dam. So it absolutely impact the fishery production and also agriculture production in our lower country.
Yeah.
That is a big problem in the region, and
Yeah.
our government already addressed. Our prime minister released the press no more hydropower dam in the country of Cambodia in 2019, and energy is we are in planning to promote the clean energy. I mean, focusing on the solar energy.
Solar, yeah.
That is a key achievement that the world leader have engaged developing countries. So, are there any key detail that Mekong think tank will improve the regional capacity or government capacity of guideline how to produce more clean energy rather than the hydropower dam that we seeing or we that is evident from the article said maybe hydropower dam must be functioning only 35 to 40 years. After that must be removed because all the sediment will no more functioning for the hydropower dam. So I would like to ask a detail for the Mekong think tank. Are there any activity regarding to the food security or fishery management
Yeah. So
or energy? for
right
this
now
one?
we, as you know, and also I mentioned that we just started this program. We are in the scoping study still to kind of see which are actors who are influential in the water, energy, and climate change sector in the Mekong. So we are still like scanning who are the actors, who are influential in this sectors. And I think I think it's good that Cambodia has that kind of policy to avoid hydropower and all the negative impacts of the hydropower. But you still depend on the other countries also, right? So I think that's why a regional approach is very relevant on this. So that's why we have regional flagship study, for example. Then the regional flagship study can also highlight that kind of risk for the regional development, which is detrimental to environment and livelihood, for example. So I think any addition, Dr. Tanapon?
Yes, I can add more information. As Aukut mentioned, we are still in the design and scoping of the program, but you are right, alternative energy is going to be one key of research, and also use it to better inform policy for, how to address this issue. And of course, I think we also discussed about how to maximize reservoir, mitigate fish impact, etc. But however, I would like to say that there are many studies already on this kind of thing, impact of hydropower, fishery, information, But that's why our kind of think tank is how we gonna make it more influence on this kind of knowledge, What are the barriers? Why the country still desire to move forward on energy or, on hydropower, in example, or that kind of thing. There's going to be a kind of area that we can further deep dive into the root cause and how we can find a way to influence policy through the think tanks alliance that we see. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Tanapon. Yes.
Thank you so much. My name is Nida. I'm just new SSC, and with the Mekong think tanks, I am thinking of a kind of a good opportunities to ask a 1 million question or 2 million questions, 2 million research questions, and then we can break down. And I think it is good if we can come up with among our network, we can come up any a good research questions that we can utilize for this scoping study, and then we can break it down from those nexus, environment, ecosystem, energies, and water securities. So for me, I think we can just do from like say the existing policy, whether we have any gaps in this kind of transboundary research, or any research papers that already ask the questions, this kind of questions. Or otherwise, we can ask in the future. For example, we are talking about like next 30 years, how would this kind of energy being harvested from the dams? So something like that would be a very good, a scoping study. Yeah, that is what I like to share. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Nida.
So maybe I try to
Yes.
encourage
Please
people from the back.
encourage more people.
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much for this very good things to know that you are developing something bigger and bigger in our region. So Mekong think tank is, I can see that this is very important, like a big library in our region for the young people and the future generation. So I'm not sure if you already have some thoughts about the how could you qualify or identify the level of the researchers or expertise in the future. For example, I think Mekong will mainly depend on the young people in this level. So these young people will be the future leaders. So if you focus more on the young researchers and take the most senior researcher become like an advisor for the research project, and this may be a good team for them to learn from each other, and the young researcher will be the person who also learn and also at the same time learning by doing. And by getting and accessing to the new data from each relevant agency, that could be another challenge for you, because as we know that data sharing is the most challenging for doing the research. So I may ask this question: how would you work with other organizations with different policy, different strategy, and different visions? Yeah, thank you.
Dr. Tanapon, maybe you want to answer that one.
I may start first, and Good can supplement. I think for your suggestion to bring young research, through the program, in example, that is already aligned with our design. So that's why if you look at the component 4 of Mekong think tank, there are about 20 fellowship, right? Good? Yes. To be granted to the young research to work with the program in different kind of area, not only the research, maybe they interest on the media, they interest on policy engagement, So that's why this is already a part of the design in terms of integrate between senior, mid-level, and young. We are very concerned on this, and I believe that this design is not our idea, but it's also experience from the SUMERNET work that we have been done for 15 years. So that's why we see this is the most kind of effective approach to bridge, between different generation and also different kind of teams. And for your question about how to work with different department organization, I think is also, again, this is a basic question in the beginning when we try to develop a program. So that's why we need to map who are our key boundary partner, as Good mentioned on the sphere, 3 sphere. we're gonna apply the same approach. So that's why I think the first thing that I may urge the network here, if you want to contribute, you know, as you can see, component 2, we talk about 3 flagship study. You know, that's gonna be something that news or very influence study, you know, so that's why we are not really finalize the study title or scope yet. So like the stakeholder or participant from fishery department from Cambodia already write some good research, you know. So that's why if you have any good idea that you would like to see on this program, please communicate with us. And again, as all good mentioned, you know, now we try to step out of the box from the water sphere, you know, to energy, to the climate. And again, SUMERNET is not only water, and we also try now to go beyond water. So that's why we see the synergy and the supplement, you know, each other. SUMERNET can do a lot of research, but think tank can bring the knowledge that you produce to influence the decision maker. We need more network, we need more friends on the policy influence, because as I already agree, they are complex, you know, they have no times. Right? And you know, we need kind of expertise, we need some organization who know them very well and bridge with us, you know, to have bigger impact. So that may be my comments or feedback to you. So any feedback from the lady or from the woman? Oh, okay, please come here. Thank you. Yeah.
Hello. Good afternoon. So my name is Jan Buntinan, and I'm from Mahidol University, advisor on research on human rights-based approach. Maybe August, could you go back to that sphere of influence, the PowerPoint slide, since.
Yes, please show the
Since you
slide.
mentioned on that, I was just thinking if it's going to help us to understand this sphere of influence a little bit more. For me, this looks like a theory of change. How we want to see SUMERNET projects or programs contribute to change, and what kind of change we want to see. But I feel like these circles need to be articulated further. I mean, I think this is a work in progress. Right? So the research project, what do we want out of the research project? We talked this morning about the multidisciplinary, you know, that conversation. So if we could articulate and identify clearer from each sphere, what are we expecting? And analyzing the different power relations between different spheres. Because we need to know who do we need to engage as allies, and are there potential enemies, so-called, who want to maybe stop or intervene negatively, what might be negative influences. So I think when we engage with policy influence, we need to map different actors. And I believe this is a good starting point to develop our theory of change for a SUMERNET research program. So just to flag on that.
Thank you, Achan. So it's very useful comment. I think, yes, we need to really be more specific in terms of how we define our pathway to impact, so our theory of change. So through that kind of approach, we can already think about who are our boundary partners and how the boundary partners will in turn influence the other stakeholders. Who are those stakeholders? Whether the boundary partner can themselves do do some change. The policy change can come also from the boundary partner. So I think it's very useful comment, and I think we will work more on this, especially we are embarking in the new program. I think we will, and also beyond SUMERNET for All, we'll think on how to better define our theory of change. Any question from online or?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Come here.
Hello. I have the same question that I have left 3 years ago. It's the question is like, do you in your like Mekong think tank projects, do you also consider the projects working on the implementation at the community level? Because I see like we are doing research and we are producing knowledge, informations, and sort of thing. So what I'm thinking is like I don't feel like community are affected. So what I'm thinking is implementation is working together with community is more affected. So we need to have a project implementing at the community level. I don't know is out of your scope, but what I'm thinking is do you also consider in your scoping missions project implementing at the community level, including for the benefit of community participants and community members? Thank you.
So yes, thank you, and thank you, Dr. Ong Tun O. Very, important question. I think we should always find the beneficiaries, the benefit of our project that can reach to the community and have a real impact to the community. But in the first instance, I think we are looking at the policy change that can come through this engagement with the community. I think that we can go beyond that. I think we feel that, we assume that by you interacting with the community, for example, then you can give some kind of a more meaningful policy recommendation that can influence the policy landscape. I think that's our mindset at this point. Although, yeah, we always encourage project to kind of benefit the community, of course. Dr. Tanapon?
Yes, thank you for the question. I think that's a good question to set expectation from the programs. First, I would like to declare that we are not investor. We are not developers, We are not like kind of infrastructure investment that have to be very clear. But what benefit that community can gain from this kind of program? First is awareness rising. Second, capacity building. Third is networking, And the fourth one that I see also is possible is pilot project. It's not a big project investment, but you can pilot something, some kind of innovation, in example, to demonstrate how a new technology or how best practice, could be implemented. So that are main domains, from our program, as I understand. But of course, you are right. We, of course, researcher, when we go to the field anytime, we feel that we can do more. If I millionaire, I will do more. But what I need to say here also, maybe not only us, but also everyone here, this is a gap. Again, we can think how we can engage more like private sector or investor,
Yes.
Through our research. That is still big gap. We have government, we have community, we have researcher, but since the morning, I don't see much project talk about private sector. Who is the main kind of investor, on the action. So that's why that can be keep in mind, even our Mekong think tank, to engage them more as much as we can, So that's why I think then we have a key stakeholder to impact on ground. That may be my feedback, all good.
Okay.
If you want to add anything, please.
So I think it's very interesting discussion, but I'm conscious about time.
Okay, good.
We can go on and on until evening. But I think, thank you very much for a very lively discussion and very useful discussion. I think you, after this, you deserve a feedback. Coffee break. I mean,
You need a coffee now.
we need coffee now. But yeah, anytime you want to give us your feedback or inputs on our research and engagement, policy engagement activities, my email. I'm ready to receive your comments and your inputs, basically, and then we'll keep also updating you on our programs. So the next is the coffee break, but I think we went over time, so I propose that we cut the coffee break. I mean, it's up to you. I mean, if you agree, but if you don't agree, we can also keep the same time. So how about to 15 minutes? Is that enough? 15 minutes. So what time now?
3:35.
So 3:35. Okay, so we come back around 3:55. 3:50. We come back again in this room for the next session, 3:50. So please have a break, please. Also online participants, please, you can grab your tea or coffee, but you have to make it your own. Please take some coffee and tea, and we have a break for 15 minutes. Thank you.
Perhaps I was talking when I should have been listening. Perhaps I was talking when I should have been listening. Perhaps I was talking when I should have been listening. Perhaps I was talking when I should have been listening.
Your per diem. Can you please just proceed to the desk of finance? Okay, maybe just only few of us here.
You say who wants money and then you go.
เข้าแถวกันมานะ
Okay, maybe I'll do the other ways. Sorry, everyone. Sorry, everyone. Hello, sorry, everyone. I need you just only 2 minutes. Sorry, everyone. Anyone wants to have your per diem pickup? Can you please queue out at the registration desk over there?
Whoever wants money on the left. Money on the left. Who wants to get money?
So for anyone who wants to take the per diem today, please queue on the desk over there. Within few minutes, they will close. No, for tomorrow. I cannot do that. They don't listen.
Perhaps I was talking when I should have been listening.
Hello. It's time. It's time. We should have this, bell. We should have bell. Yeah. We have it, no? I think we have. But we have. I think we should bring it somewhere. I will tell O to ask Kun Somai to bring. Hello. Time. Please. Yeah, we have bell actually. Yes. So let's wait for another minute. Thank you. Good, 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 good. And we have in office. So everyone, I think I hope you enjoy your coffee break, shorter coffee break. So we will move on to the next session. The next session is about the upcoming opportunity for our network members. So this should be a very interesting session for you. And I have my colleagues here, Natalie Biskupska from SUMERNET Secretariat, who will kind of explain that what future opportunities we have for our network member. Please.
Thanks, Agus. Can we put the slides up, please?
Please slide up.
Yeah, great. So, hi everyone, I'm Natalia. I'm part of the SUMERNET Secretariat. I support some of the program management and monitoring, evaluation and learning activities within SUMERNET. And today I'll just spend a few minutes sharing about some of the upcoming opportunities for SUMERNET Network members, like Agus mentioned already. Next slide, please. So just quickly on a very brief agenda. So first I'll just talk a bit about how the network is developing and connecting with other opportunities in the region. I'll then share just a few upcoming opportunities, and then there'll be a space for some questions from the group here about anything that I've just mentioned there. Next slide, please. So this year we've had several quite exciting achievements. So we supported the development of a proposal for DFAT, so that's Australia's Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade, to set up the Mekong think tank program. So this proposal was led by SEI, including various members of the SUMERNET Secretariat, and supported by several SUMERNET partners and members. And really, fortunately, we were successful in the proposal, and we're now in the process of refining the program design. So this initiative aims to connect with and support local, national and regional think tanks in the region here, specifically in building their capacities, in conducting evidence-based research and analysis, and in policy engagement activities. And specifically, this program intends to enhance the capacity and networking of young professionals in these networks. So that's quite an exciting opportunity for us here. Next, we also supported the development of a joint proposal in partnership with Thailand's Office of Natural Water Resources for establishing the Youth Leadership Network on Water Resources Cooperation in the Lanchan Mekong region. So this project will specifically link with the SUMERNET Youth Network. And again, we were successful in this proposal, and that project is kickstarting. So both of these projects here will open up several opportunities for the SUMERNET Network members here and the different partners to be involved in the coming years. So, keep your eyes out for these opportunities. We'll be sharing them amongst the networks. We also share regular updates and different funding opportunities beyond SUMERNET with the different mailing lists that we have within the SUMERNET network. So keep your eyes out for those. There might be some interesting opportunities to collect a few interested SUMERNET members together to co-develop a proposal to address some of these calls that we're sending out. But also, please reach out to us if you come across an interesting proposal yourself and you're looking for other partners to get involved in your projects. We're happy to make those connections and also to get involved ourselves as well. So let's keep the conversation going and see how we can develop some exciting new projects together. Next slide, please. And then some upcoming opportunities within SUMERNET for the network members here. So we have a few grants which will be opening up. So first we've got the SUMERNET Fellowship Grant. So this is an opportunity for young professionals who are keen to join the SUMERNET Secretariat in Bangkok for up to a 1-year placement. So these fellows are placed in different components under SUMERNET. So you can support research, policy engagement, communications, or program management activities. So it's a quite exciting opportunity. And you've seen a few of the fellows in our event today helping out, and it's a really exciting time to have them involved. So this opportunity will open up again next year for those that are interested. So keep your eyes out for that. We also have the SUMERNET Small Grants call that will be coming out next year. So this is a new funding cycle for these small grants for small activities in the region. I think Agus might have mentioned about small grants already, but there'll be about 30 to 50,000 SEK, so that's about $3,000 to $5,000 for some activities in the region next year. So I think these will be opening up at the beginning of 2023. And then I mentioned already, but just grants from other sources that we regularly share with the network, so we'll just keep sharing these next year as well. And then opportunities for training and capacity building. So SUMERNET has regularly held various trainings and public seminars. So these trainings are usually based on the needs of the network here. So in the past, we've had various trainings around communications and other things, and we have some other trainings scheduled, for example, for this week for the people in person at this event on policy communications and on developing a gender action plan. And then next year will be some other training opportunities which are already being scheduled around, for example, conflict sensitivity training. But also we're open to help support other trainings as well. So if you have a need, please get in touch and we can see what we can do. We've also held various seminars, often linked to the different projects that we have here. The SUMERNET projects have contributed to these seminars. You can find them by following this link here, or you can have a look on our SUMERNET website at the past events that we've done. But we're also hoping to hold more seminars next year. So if you're keen for your project to be shared through these seminar platforms, then please get in touch about that as well. There's also been a few activities organised by our SUMERNET Youth Network. So again, some different trainings or workshops. So some on proposal writing to help kind of young professionals with improving their skills on proposal writing, or on writing for social media channels or different communication capacity building as well. So again, this is generated from the network and the needs of the network, of the SUMERNET Youth Network. So the youth out there, please kind of raise your interest in that, and we can help support further things with the SUMERNET Youth Network as well. And then finally, project endorsements. So we also support project endorsements through SUMERNET. So this is available for research ideas, concept notes, proposals, or projects that are developed by at least one SUMERNET network member. So if your project kind of maybe fits within the scope of SUMERNET, you can get in touch with us and we can kind of see about whether we can endorse that project. So yeah, just write to Agus here if you think your project can qualify for this, and we can help support it. Next slide, please. And then finally, just a bit about some of the SUMERNET communication channels. So I believe everyone here is probably part of our mailing list. So this is a group of 500 people, so we regularly share all the opportunities through there. We also have the SUMERNET website, of course, and a newsletter which is shared once every 2 months with upcoming opportunities, events, etc. If you're not subscribed to any of these, then please do that today so you can keep up to date with everything that's happening. We also have our various social media channels, so you can see the name for us, our Facebook page and our Twitter handle there. We also have our fabulous steering committee members in this room today and online. They are representatives from the different Mekong countries that we're working with, and also some young professional representatives as well. So if you're interested in starting up some activities within your countries or within the youth networks, please get in touch as well through the SSC, the SUMERNET Secretariat, the SUMERNET Steering Committee, sorry. You can find their details or their names on the website, or just talk to them today in the room, online, and we can kind of make those connections and get something going in your countries. And also, of course, all the other members in the room today, please, we encourage everyone to connect on similar ideas and to kind of grow something together. So if you have any questions at all about any of this, Agos is probably the main contact point for you. But yeah, otherwise you can come and speak to us during the event, but also open now to any questions from the audience. Or online as well. Any specific questions?
I have a suggestion. Is that possible?
Yes, please.
Okay, this maybe relate to the your last slide about communication channel, and also relate to the first topic that we discussed, that how we can have a more active member for the network. I see that many members just participate and waiting, and in particular to see that whether SUMERNET have some call and fit to the mandate and submit the proposal. And if the proposal is not accepted or not yet funding, then stop and waiting. So I think that if we want to encourage people to become more active, we have to find some way to encourage people. One way is that can we have a reward sample like a certificate, the annual certificate to issue that in this year you are an active member of SUMERNET by contribution a number of feedback to SUMERNET request, like voting the SSC member, contribution to the survey, or submit the proposal to the cron, etc. If we count the members that contribute to how many number of the cases, then we'll get a certificate for the contribution in that year. Then that will be support to encourage the member. Secondly, I see that first we have the SSC member should be active, and we have to use the active member in the country as a node to encourage other member as a pyramid scheme in each country. Because when I see, for example, voting or survey, then just receive an email from August, and I have never received an email from SSC from my country to asking me to contribute to the voting or contribute to the survey, but just email from August, and I see that the email from August just for the secretariat, and I ignore that until August complained that too little number of members contribute to the voting. Then I say, oh, it's pity to August, and I contribute. But if the email from SSC member from my country sent to me, then I may see that, oh, it is my friend in my country, I will contribute. So I think that the SSC member and the other active member in the country should be the node to encourage and expand the active member in the country, like a pyramid scheme. Then that will encourage, and we will have a more active member in the country. That is my suggestion for the communication channel. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Huan. Always a very useful suggestion from Dr. Huan. So I think, yeah, I support what he has mentioned, that the SSC has a very important role to kind of engage with the network member and try to get more active member in, especially in the same country. And as I mentioned that in the near future, we will discuss about this with the SSC and how the SSC can more involve in the engagement, direct engagement with the country members. And even we are thinking of having like regular in-country meetings now that COVID restriction has been mostly lifted in most of the countries in the Mekong. We are thinking of having maybe in-country meetings with the network member. They can invite a network member to a venue, and then they can meet, and then they discuss what will we do in the country, in our country, to be considered in SUMERNET, something like that. So this is being considered. Thank you very much, Dr. Huan, to reminding us about that. And yeah, this has always been our priority. More question, please. We need more grant. Okay, that's good to hear. So thank you very much, Natalia. So give applause to Natalia. So our next in the agenda is a very important discussion because we are discussing about the future. So even this can also have a very significant implication on our network as a sustainability of our network in the future. So we will be discussing about emerging issues in the Mekong region, and these emerging issues can be considered to be what will be the role of SUMERNET in addressing those emerging regional issues. So I will, to guide us through this very important discussion, I will ask my colleague, Susmita, our research coordinator for SUMERNET, please.
Thank you, Agus. I'm back here. I hope you all are not feeling too tired and willing to engage in this conversation. I'm trying to locate all the panel members. I know some of them are online. So Dr. Louis Lebel and Dr. Hue are online. And we have Thanapon is here. Vacharuthai, I can't see her. Ajan Vacharuthai. She's probably not here. And we have Ajan Sudarat is here, I can see. So very quickly, what we will try to do in this session is have a quick overview of what the potential emerging issues are that each of our panel members do think about it. And then we will open up the floor for all of you to engage, both online as well as the ones who are here. So I'll actually invite Ajan Louis to share the the presentation is here, so we will show the presentation, the slides, and you can speak to that, and then we'll have the others to respond to questions after that.
I've shared my video just now, Susmita, because the one I sent you is an old version.
You can then share your screen. Oh, we are seeing your screen, yeah. So you can start.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you perfectly fine.
Okay, so I have three issues I would like to highlight for people to think about the future of SUMERNET. And they're different a little bit than the ones you've been hearing so far in the very excellent session that's preceded this. So I'm going to open the box a little bit further. In my view, innovation is increasingly been recognized as very important to adaptation to climate change because the risk management strategies we have are not adequate. And the same goes for sustainability transitions more broadly. So far within the region, most of the research and efforts at incubating innovations for the private sector or to solve particular problems have been very technological and managerial in approach. And this is important, but it's only part of the problem, part of the solution. We need much better understanding of the social, cultural, and institutional dimensions of innovation if we're going to be successful adaptation and more broadly sustainability transition. So the first issue for me is to pay more attention to social, cultural, and institutional dimensions of innovation. On the next page. Most studies, you look at SUMERNET, who they target in their policy work, in the research work, is often justified by attention to marginalized people and vulnerable places, to single-handed households led by women, to ethnic minorities, to migrant workers. We often work on these marginalized people, but solutions to many sustainability problems depend on changing the behavior of the privileged and secure, and we rarely work on them. I think one way forward would be to pay attention to sustainable consumption, value chains, for example. And I'm particularly think there's an opportunity in the Mekong region to start to link sustainable livelihood work with lifestyle agendas. So livelihoods and lifestyles, these are things in SUMERNET we've rarely paid much attention to, the lifestyle part, to what the privileged and wealthy do. And the third issue, I think is very important maybe for the next decade, as we try to get into the next phase of SUMERNET, is that the sustainability transitions that SUMERNET has often been interested in from different angles have to be pursued under really challenging contexts. Right now and for a few years, I think we'll be in pandemic aftershock, possibly global recession, countries with debt, and worries about a new variant of COVID-19. Extreme events. I didn't choose things in the Mekong region on purpose, just to be sound neutral, but to remind you that all over the world, there's this example of serious floods in Pakistan. There's energy insecurities that are going to reappear that we thought were a Cold War period. Ukraine and Russian war. It raises a lot of questions about the global context in which we might pursue water, energy, food, climate, water, energy, food, ecosystem nexus. And I would put to you undemocratic governance. It's a trend around the world. COP27 on now, civil society events blocked and banned in Egypt. We've got some really big challenges. And for me, the new normal is really challenging context for many of the important things that need to be done. So that's all I had. Shall I stop sharing?
Good. Or we can actually leave them here and we can have the conversation going. So thank you Ajahn Louis for this as a research advisor for the SUMERNET phase 4 that we are currently on. He wanted to take on, and we actually requested him to give us some of these broad ideas that are coming forth from his understanding of what's happening in the region. And to take this forward, I would now request the panel members who are here, maybe I'll go to Dr. Hue, who's online, to share some of your thoughts, which could either reflect on what Ajahn Louis has already mentioned, or anything new that you also would like to add to this. Over to you.
Thanks. I would like to share a bit that I just have the same, some of mine just overlap with what Louis just mentioned earlier, but I also picked some from the sections that I attended today. And thanks all the participants for very interesting presentations that helped me form the issues that I'm going to talk to you. I'm so sorry that I don't have a presentation as such, so I just talk then. The first point I would like to raise here is that some presentation also talk about innovations and EBA solutions. And I think that we need to deal with the issues of ownership because, sometimes the solution just comes from above. And then the local community don't feel like they own the solutions at all. And maybe they just ask like the solutions, are good for whom? For the policymakers or for the farmers, but for the villagers or for whom? And for example, for the e-based solutions and also innovations, the cost are also, like a problem, So we should think about the cost along the way. Who will bear the cost? So we might think about the public-private partnership because, without the involvement of the private partnership, I don't think that solutions, will last long. I mean, maybe after the project comes to an end and then solutions also are gone and disappear, as quickly as, our, project team just, come back to Hanoi or Ho Chi Minh City or, wherever where they are based. So we should think about it, seriously and how to build this kind of partnership to make sure that the sustainable, the solutions are sustainable. And also, the sustainable, the solutions and also the EBA solutions are, part of the community, but not, like comes from only the academic people. The second point I would like to raise is that the community, a lot of people just talk about the community research, but I would like to break down it a bit because when we talk about the community, we know that the community is not homogeneous. So how can we deal with the issue or how we address the issue of heterogeneity or how can we deal with the issue of social differentiation, power, gender, conflicts, everything, So especially when we talk about the communities that are affected by hydropower plants and also climate change impacts, because people, they are not equally affected. So how can we deal with these issues of heterogeneity in this kind of context? What kind of research methodology would help us, deal with the issues of heterogeneity and social differentiation? For example, like political ecology or feminist political ecology would deal with this kind of issue, gender, ethnicity. The third one I would like to mention here is that, I think I shared with Louis when he talked about the alternative and renewable sources of energy, for example, like a wind, solar energy. And then I was wondering, that would be a good area for research for SUMERNET to pay attention to in the future. So maybe we just, focus on this in the future, for example, like just call for proposals in the future. And the next one is the youth, the young people. We know that the young people, they are the agents of change. But how can we engage them in our projects? Because, most of the time, like for the Laos case, it was mentioned that they are not around. They are busy working in the industrial zones. So it's very hard, to find them and also engage them in the projects. But for example, for the case of Vietnam, I just came back from the field yesterday, and then it seems like the remittances that they sent from from working in the factories help, the local people minimize impacts on the forest so that they can protect the forest. But the thing is, how to help them stay instead of going? Because, for example, when climate change happens, when extreme events happens, who would just protect, the diet, for example, so when the young people are not around, and for the Laos case, for example, he said that only the old people and children are left behind. So how can we help them stay? Is there any alternative source of income? Should we think about, a value chain, a commodity? I mean, a kind of develop value chain for them so that they can develop, they can become the ownership or owner of that commodity so that they could stay because they could help build the community in a more sustainable way. The last point I would like to share is the policy briefs. All the projects talk about that. But who is the audience? We should think about the audience before we develop or design the policy brief, and how to approach this audience that we have in mind. Because, for example, if we like to approach people at the national level, that will be different from the people at the provincial level or district level. Are we going to approach those who are the policy speakers at the national level, or what? So if we can identify the audience for our policy briefs, I mean that will be easier for us to design the policy briefs. And also we have to think about what would be the best way to approach them. Otherwise, I mean, after we just spend a lot of time and energy designing the policy briefs and printing them, and then we just put them in the drawer and no one would touch the policy briefs, and that will be a waste. So I would like to stop there. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Hui, for those important things that you mentioned as part of what you've been advising different teams, and you had some reflections from that. Now I'll invite Dr. Sudarat to share her reflections.
Thank you, Ajahn Sunita. I agree with Ajahn Rui and Dr. Hui. From the conflict sensitivity perspective, I think poverty and social inequality crisis continue to be important emerging issue in the Mekong region. Many social scientists agree that water insecurity does not directly cause armed conflict, but water insecurity increases risk of conflict by worsened poverty and social inequality. This phenomenon is observable throughout Mekong River Basin. The rapid transformation of the Mekong region in the past decade have played a significant factor in increasing poverty and social inequality, leading to rural unrest and social conflict. Poverty and social inequality relate to income, employment, age, gender, and ethnicity also associate with unequal exposure to environmental risks. Furthermore, poverty and social inequality limited people's inability to cope with environmental shock, which can lead to tension and conflict. The poor, disadvantaged, and marginalized groups along the Mekong River are higher risk of environmental and social effects. Therefore, I believe environmental scientists, social scientists, boundary partners, and community should coordinate policy to address environmental and social issues simultaneously, as they are interconnected and too urgent to address separately. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sudarat. At this point, anybody has any questions from... Okay, there are several of them. So what I'll do is first I'll get Thanapon to finish your reflections, and then we come to the questions.
So I talked already a lot for today. So yeah, I just have a quick additional emerging issue from my kind of thinking apart from Ajahn Lui, Ajahn Sudarat, and Dr. Huan. So what I'm thinking about in the next 2 decades that Mekong region gonna facing. One is going to be related to migrations. I foresee it's going to be huge migration across the country, from inside, from among the country, from outsider, because there are many policy already in place to connect people together. And also through the disaster, climate change impact, people will try to move around, from place to place. So that's why in terms of research, what you have to dealing with is about the dynamic of the system. You think it's already complex now, but I foresee in the future it's going to be even more complex and fast change, from year to year, decade to decade, because every year now what I feel like is so fast. Oh, it's already November this year, we're going to start another year already. It's a lot of things to do, So that's why I foresee that when people migrate, it change many things in terms of resource use, in terms of culture, lifestyle, etc. And of course how the policy gonna be taken this kind of issue So that's one of I would urge now on the SUMERNET for next program or future. Second is I would see that I mean SUMERNET should taken all the pollution issue, so air pollution, water pollution, land pollution, ocean pollution. Now in Southeast Asia, this pollution is going to be more and more. I don't see any trend going to be go down soon because of we have a lot of demand, lack of knowledge, lack of education, and also lack of policy to manage the waste, and pollution. It's not sufficient yet. It's not effective yet. It's not ready yet. So that's why you're gonna see more degradation of natural resource. And if you see COVID bring back within 2 years, I think Bangkok have better air quality. We don't need to have many policy. We work from home indicate. And this is also a fact that human intervention, human have kind of big impact on natural resource, and I foresee a lot of good news on many let's say tourism hotspot or key environmental place that they recover, from the COVID period, that we see many endangered species come back, etc. So this is also evident or proof that our human activity affect their habitats, in example. And you can see now also a lot of campaign on the plastic, etc. One side we very success on have a safe and clean water on the bottoms. I can see this is success. People drink clean water, but now you create another big cumulative problem to the river, to the ocean again. It's not finished yet. So that's why you're gonna foresee this gonna be more and more. So that's why I think if SUMERNET can now taken out kind of pollution in terms of innovation, in terms of best practice, in terms of awareness. So I hope that we can save a lot of good kind of natural resource and also rich biodiversity. That is the highlight of the Mekong compared to other regions. Not only culture, but we have also rich biodiversity. So that I would like to still remark on this point. Thank you.
Thank you. Those were very useful comments around what's happening with environmental degradation and what could be done and how we could broaden the scope of talking about sustainability issues, looking at natural resources overall and what can be done. Thanks, Thanapon, for those. Dr. Singh, you wanted to say something.
Yes. Good afternoon. My name is Baekton Singh from Hanoi. I'd like to go back to Louis' point that we until now have focused too much on the aspect of technological and material aspect, and sometimes this kind of solution became not the solution, but it became a problem. So that's why we should bring the new dimension on innovation. And in innovation, I would like to also include the aspect of inclusiveness. So firstly, why social innovation? I think the social innovation plays a very important role nowadays to not just only address the issue, but it's also address the grand challenge, which is already you explained what mean the grand challenge recently. For example, COVID-19 and the recent crisis in Europe of Ukraine. That's the kind of grand challenge. It's really force us to rethink about what innovation could play a role in setting the agenda. And I think this kind of issue have to brought by the young researcher, because I think that should be something that you guys should carry out this kind of message and try to influence quite early as possible of changing the mindset of what is the alternative sustainability pathway. And that's something I like to highlight. This in this regard related to Louis' comment, and I think this is something that I hope that we can set up some certain agenda and focus along this line. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Singh. Pagde.
Okay, thank you. I have a few comments, actually 3 comments that I'd like to make. First, going back to the points that Luis mentioned, I think I would just call that the objects of analysis that we have been focusing on as part of the SUMERNET is very much looking at the impacts on the vulnerable group. And I am pretty sure that it's actually linked to the way that the SUMERNET is set up and funded. Even though I agree with Luis that it's actually also very interesting to look at like the people that are actually already secured, because like these are the people that actually have impacts. The people that we have studied are the ones that are impacted. So it goes to questioning the support that we have to speak to and the funding that we have to apply for, if that's the direction that is allowed. For example, if we would like to change the way that research have been set up and funded by SUMERNET, because in the last phase, I was one of the research team, and the focus on the impacted is always at the forefront, not the one that actually impact the policy. So I just wanted to raise that point that if we do, even though I agree that we have to look at like studying the secured population, we also have to think about whether that is something that is okay with our funder. The second point, I think a lot of the talks so far have mentioned a lot of issues, but it's very clear that it's all linked to climate change, and yes, I agree. And if we try to, of course, we have a lot of challenges that we can study with regard to climate change, but trying to just like classify them, you can say some of the topics are focusing on the causes of climate change, some of the topics are focusing on the impacts of climate change. Maybe a discussion that need to be had as the network would be, are we looking at the causes of climate change, or are we looking at the impacts of climate change? Are we looking at both? And are we studying that in terms of the people that will be impacted by all of these things? Or are we studying how the people that make decisions actually make decisions on these things that are going to have impacts? And again, that links back to whether that is acceptable by our funder. But the other topic that I think was brought up a little bit but didn't really get a lot of attention is the cost of climate change that's linked to land use, agriculture and forestry, and also the consumptions. I think this is a topic that is very important, but we actually don't really look at a lot in the network, maybe because this phase is very much focusing on water. Of course, like we can also look at energy and so on, but just looking at like the situation in the ASEAN context or in the Mekong country, and also the development in other regions. For example, I think a lot of you might have heard already that the EU, for example, is having a new regulation that is focusing on addressing deforestation linked to climate change, linked to agriculture and land use. So I just wanted to raise that that should also just be one of the topics that we can look at with regards to climate change, because that is how a lot of the, what we call the demand side of the supply chain is focusing on. And I think a lot of the countries in the Mekong are what we call the supply side. So we need to bring up this topic of agriculture, land use and forestry that is linked to climate change. And lastly, I heard a few points about policy brief and so on. It's just a quick maybe promotion that we do have a training on Friday focusing on how to write policy brief. And then you also will have a lot of opportunity to actually practice writing your policy brief. It's a very long comment.
Thank you so much. Are there any comments? What about the younger researchers?
Hi everyone, my name is Lais. I'm from Kantar University. So from this, I have the 2 points I want to add. Most of you have covered all the topics, but for me, I think need to specific in wetlands restoration or biodiversity conservation. Now we can realize that the wetlands decrease day by day, and that's very important for us to provide some ABS like ecosystem-based solution to support our community to more resilient to other uncertainty and other things. I think that the issue now is everything change very quickly, like very faster than in the past, and we cannot predict what the change in the future, like unpredictable. So how we can support, but for our solution is like to be very slow, like slower than the change of the issue. So my point is how we can develop something to support the community or solution, like speed it up, how to catalyze the solution to be like faster to catch up with the change in the future. Thank you.
Very good, very good.
Thank you.
Suggestion. So I saw in the front. Yeah, please.
Thank you. So I have one suggestion for SUMERNET. I think SUMERNET have a lot of research projects, but maybe also have some innovation research project. But today I'm here, I would like to address that for SUMERNET to increase more funding for research and demonstration project, because demonstration project would be have the community as a SUMERNET advisor address, because regarding to ownership, if we have more research and demonstration or innovation project based at the rural area, at the community area, so the community will be get the benefit from the technology transfer that based at the local community. So thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I would like to share from what I learned from my projects. If further research on because flood is a major issue mentions. So if we could find some technology or forecasting or prevention on the local scale, it's also would be helpful, especially in the region of the Mekong. Yes, if we could develop those technology, I think also it could be shared amongst the country as well. For example, if we could find the technology that forecast the floods, in the catchments in the small scale and local, and also some tool that could prevent, could warn to the society at this level. Also, it would be helpful on this topic. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kap. I think she again remind us to look at the maybe local flood warning system that can lead by community plus science, etc. So there is something that actually SEI tried to do also one project in between Thailand and Myanmar in Chiang Rai and Tekilek, to develop a local flood warning system for the flash flood. It's quite challenging, as he's mentioned also. We are living a very uncertainty world now. So if we don't have a good technology information system, it's very hard to detect or to warn people in advance. Yeah.
Also, if the finding that we could share among each country, also that's good. One technology developed and then it could be shared with each other. I think it is also another aspects that we could do. Yes.
Thank you. Okay, so we have.
Good afternoon. I'm Pen Wisang from Nafri, Laos. I just would like to add more, because as we know nowadays, due to climate change, drought occur more frequent and more seriously. So I would like SUMERNET to consider how to support research on drought, to cope with drought for the crop production, animal and fishery. As in the future, we will have problem with the water as a rainfall, not fall down as a regular, some scatter and limitation. So we will have problem with drought for agriculture. So if we can support research for this. Yeah.
So I think we talk about flood, we talk about drought. That is common issue in this region. So one thing that I can add here is also I think many policy in the Mekong country, they are driven by the demand side. Like all the agency have the mandate to find more and more water to supply for different user. And we know that the user trend is going to be increase, right? But I think it's also good to look at on the demand side, how to manage demand better. That may be also a key kind of research also that I think is still a big gap in this region. So, yeah. Any more comment and questions? Yes, here. Oh, Dr. George, please.
Thank you very much, Dr. Thanapon. Just a very quick suggestion to revisit your points of the absence of private sectors or in particular companies, private sectors, right, and entrepreneurs in the effort. Just to be very clear, I think SUMERNET and all of us are not investors and developers, but that won't stop us from working with them in the way that maybe SUMERNET can think about a co-funding scheme where the boundary partners can bring on board, on site, the private sectors to enhance the accountability and sustainability of pilot interventions. Because if we can only rely on one source of funding, then pilot will die out after a certain amount of time. But if there is a partnership with private, somehow we can touch upon their business and make it profitable. Of course, discussions must be there, either through co-sharing or through equity. I think this is beyond my knowledge, but this is a suggestion that maybe a co-funding discussion can be explored to bring on board private sectors with Dr. Thanapon has pointed out that has been absent from the discussion.
Thank you, Dr. George, to bring this issue back. I think under the GIRA project that I attend in the Khon Kaen, they already start engage private sector in Thailand called Mitphon. No? So that you can confirm again, Mitphon company who the most use kind of groundwater for sugarcane, right? I'm not sure. Yeah. So that's why, this is again to show how we try to engage, private sector through the project. But of course, I think they are still under progress. So I believe that when the project completes, they can share more kind of outcome and output from the project, how success or how challenges to bring in the private sector through the project implementation or a part of the boundary partner. Yeah. So do we have more time or no? Okay, clear. I hand over back to Jasmita, please. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much, Thanapon, for helping me manage this big room. So just to, very interesting points that have been raised by each one of you, and some of them we have been engaging to some extent, some are missing. These are ideas that we can take forward as we go ahead into the next phase. And one word that seems to be weighing heavy on my head right now as I listen to some of these things was the term degrowth. And we were thinking about whether in the region, where do we stand vis-a-vis degrowth, because we're talking about climate change, we're talking about impacts, whose impacts, how it's being caused, and where do we see ourselves, because Mekong as a region has been at the forefront of supplying for all the resources that the rest of the globe is kind of taking from here. So are we wanting to move towards a system where we want to look at degrowth as a potential way forward? And again, degrowth needs to be unpacked in the context of the region. I'm not saying that the region has to degrow. Probably these are, again, relations between the global majority and the minority worlds that we need to look at. And the impacts are being felt here, but the reparations have to come from elsewhere. And it's in that context that justice then comes into the forefront, and are we looking at some of those aspects as we think about all these things? So I'll leave you with those thoughts, but just to run a quick poll on some of the emerging themes that you all as a group think that should be the focus as we go forward into SUMERNET. Maybe Agus, can you help with running the poll?
Thank you. So we are back at the Vivox app again, but this time you don't need to like vote for anything. So if you have idea about emerging research team that SUMERNET need to consider, please write in the Q&A section. You can also support any of this idea by clicking the like button also. So you can have more than one idea, but please put one idea in one of these bubble. Yeah.
Only one?
Not only one, but you can have more, but please put only one per bubble. So people can vote. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. A good cup. Maybe you can add more issue. Show them.
So they can keep adding. Everybody can keep adding
Yeah.
issues as well. These were just some that we added on to just to show. You can add more, or if any of these seem familiar, then you can vote on them by liking them. The thumbs up button that's there is just one way of trying to see what more ideas are coming and trying to scan the horizon among all of you. There's a very small group when we look at the Mekong region. We have several of you also joining online, so please do put in your thoughts in there. And I think with that I will mostly end this session. I've kind of done the reflection, and we'll move on to the conclusion of the network meeting. It's been very, very interesting that these things happened and how we have come to look at some of these issues. Yeah. So I'll invite Madam Long to share some of your closing remarks.
Please, Madam Long.
Yeah. Good morning to good afternoon to everyone. Firstly, I would like to highly appreciate all of you to be here. Everybody here is very useful. Depend on each of your task. Some is a project member, some is a SUMERNET steering committee member, and the other is a partner member. So this afternoon we already listened to very interesting 4 topics already. And the first one is the update on the recent development governance of SUMERNET Network. So in here we already have listen to and share about the strengthening, enhancing the steering committee member at the true networks leader and the network membership, and also the opportunity for the network member to learn and to share about experience and expand the network. And the second topic is about the research and policy engagement activity in SUMERNET. And we already listened to to share about the Mekong think tank program. Now TE already we have the good result already, and now we how to develop the plan policy, the program together. And the third one is the upcoming opportunity for the SUMERNET Network members. So in this one, we have several opportunities. First, as I mentioned before, is the Mekong think tank program. It's led by SEC, and the second is the joint proposal in the partnership with Thailand official of National Water Resources for establishing the Young Leadership Network. And the third is the regular updates and sharing the funding opportunity to the whole member network. From that, we can apply and we can have a good opportunity to collaborate together. And the fourth is the emerging issue of the Mekong region. This one is very interesting topic in this afternoon, and the participants very interested in like contributing, sharing together. And in here we have many questions to raise, and as how the innovation, the ownership to whom, and how to engage the young people into the project, and what is the policy brief, who is the audience to get more effectiveness. And also we also mentioned about the environment pollution, SUMERNET how SUMERNET program can support to contribute to solve the environment pollution in the future. And SUMERNET is not only about the water insecurity, but also any issue related to the sustainable development format the work in more sustainable development. And also some question also raised about the floods and the drought, how to solve, how to share how to share the results among the country, so that every country can can have more chance to yield the result and develop for each country. So that's the end of the discussion in this afternoon. Although they already end by the time, but I think that this will open more opportunity for us to learn and to share through this network, very broad network. So last but not least, I would like to say thank you all of you to be here and wish all of you very healthy and success. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Madam Long. Would anybody from the Youth Network speak what they felt about the network meeting today, or any thoughts, any experiences that you may have had?
Any brave volunteer from the young professional? Boripat? Our SSC?
Hello, my name is Boripat. On behalf of the SUMERNET Youth Network, I would like to thank the Secretariat for sharing many exciting and important opportunities for young professionals in our network, including fellowship positions and other possible collaborations in the future. Many thanks also again for the Secretariat for their continuous support and encouragement for us to organize various webinars, trainings, and capacity building events throughout this year. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank and acknowledge my fellow young professionals and colleagues, Tantan, Onkam, Sophia, and May, who together were part of the original core team and worked on the SUMERNET Youth Network from the beginning. I look forward to working closely with them in the coming months, and I'm excited to also welcome 3 new SUMERNET fellows who will also be joining our core team. And together, I hope we can create new events and activities together that bring about young professionals from around the region to come together and collaborate, exchange and share information, as well as network with each other. Lastly, I'd like to say thank you again for everyone's continued support and encouragement to the young professionals in our network, and I hope everyone enjoys a nice dinner tonight. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Boripat, for those words. Anybody else wants to say anything? Yeah, anybody online? We've had a very quiet online
Yeah.
participation.
But
so
actually,
we-
they have been chatting.
Can I?
Yeah.
Can I?
Yeah.
Yes.
My name is Lam Nội from Southern Institute of Water Resource Research, Ho Chi Minh City. I'm the new FC member. First of all, I would like to say thank you at SEI for the own opportunity to give us to become here to join the meeting and also sharing the knowledge, sharing the idea. The secondly is that I think that the think tank is a very, very I am so excited with the think tank new program, and of course most of us are here is a researcher, so we are so excited to look forward for the new grant funding for the new research, and I would like to mention that as like the new SSC member, I'm willing to support other people and also willing to encourage other people to join the SUMERNET for all network, to be the member of SUMERNET for all member. So I would like to propose that should we consider about some criteria or requirement or suggestion that if the people who like to join participate in the co-proposal for the think tank program, should all of them are SUMERNET for all member, and most of and all the member in the research team must be the SUMERNET member. So and also the key performance for the SUMERNET member is that you should be not only member but also active member, like the join on the online training, promote our SUMERNET project in Facebook, Twitter, and other platform in the internet, and also we should promote that the private sector to join for the like the SMI project. We do. I hope that we will have a like some encourage the private sector to build some like the some pilot sanitation or drinking water supply system for Kamu community, Mid-Cao community. Like when we go there, a lot of donor come. However, some donor work like they bought for example they bought for some water tank. However, the water tank is the capacity of water tank just only 1 cubic meter. So the 1 cubic meter is not enough for poor people to store water, to store the drinking water enough for survive for whole sunny reason. So they suggest that if we can recommendation for the donor that if next time the donor come and buy the tank for the poor people, should be the bigger tank, and they appreciate that boy. So we would like to give some recommendation and dissemination their voice from the local community to other donors. That okay, the support is very good, but they should find the way, the better way to support, and also consider some recommendation from SUMERNET for own project, or recommendation from policy brief from SUMERNET project also. So a lot of things I would like to say. However, the time is a limit, so I would like to say once again to say thank you for all the effort from the SEI team, advisor, and also the SSC member, former SSC member, especially the SEI secretariat for support all of the meeting group and the meeting activity. Also funded our trip to Bangkok for enjoy the meeting. Thank you so much for the support.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanapon, you want to say something?
Sorry, I forgot one point during the coffee break. There is kind of idea about networking like today. Here we are regional networking, right? And also we have SSC meeting, an example. There also idea to maybe organize SUMERNET national meetings. You know, for each country, you know, we have representative from the member country. I think it's a good idea to have national meeting to even gather more local or national, network, and from national SUMERNET national meeting, and we can bring outcome and output to the regional meeting. That's gonna be more voice, from national. That is kind of the idea from Dr. Kwang here. So I think it's a good idea to maybe
Yes.
we take a note and
Yeah.
you know, let's see if we can make it work later stage นะครับ because I think this already show the ownership and home for the SUMERNET. So
Absolutely.
yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Thank you for bringing up that point. That's an excellent point, and we should see how we can make that work, because we really need to go out of here into the national and the national committees. Let's see how we can strengthen those, and meetings can be held, and more activity and more participation of network members can happen as a result. So on that positive note, I think I can say we will close the network meeting. Thank you all
Yes.
for your presence, your support,
Yeah.
your active participation and inputs, and we hope we'll have a lot more people. Thank you to the
Online
online
participants.
participants
So-
as well.
Maybe just one thing I need from you is to fill out the survey, because every session we would like to have your input. So you just go to the Vivox app as usual, and then the same code, and then just pick that survey link tab, and then you can see the question there. So I think your inputs there will be useful for our next event. So I think I will also add to Susmita, like I'm grateful that you are all here in person, and then you can build a relationship or linkages better, you know, with the person. It's more personal, and you can build the network. We can build more closer linkages among each other. Even as I see the chat, they are exchanging social media, you know, in the chat. So please add me at my Twitter or something like that. So even the online participants, they are linking, you know. So I hope for those of you who are present here in person, I hope we still have tomorrow, we still have tonight's dinner. So please use that opportunity to link with each other, basically. So with that,
With that, we welcome Anjali. She has some very important comments and requests of you.
Hello, maybe my time just to introduce myself for those who are on the back. My name is Anjali Alonso. I'm a program coordinator and a program assistant for SUMERNET and SEI. So welcome everyone today, and thank you for your contributions. I just would like to say thanks for having you all here. We still have some more sessions for you. Please don't be so exhausted for that. So the housekeeping note from me is about just for your reimbursement. So we have, for those who have submitted the reimbursement documents to us this morning, so you are able to check with the finance desk just on the left-hand side after you get out from this room. But for those who did not send or submit any documents, just on your right-hand side in front of our room. And the last one is about the welcome dinner. I can notice today that we have all the beautiful dresses from our gentlemen and ladies around here, and it would be our pleasure to have you join the welcome dinner on the ballroom, the 38th floor. That would be a high ceiling and good for space for photos, even selfies. So the start time would be like 6 p.m. And everyone, the resource person, all the facilitators, SEI Secretariat team, all the SSC members, old, new, young, anyone can join. Thank you so much, and see you there.
I'm sorry, I keep coming back with one quick thing. Last, hopefully. We are ending today on a high note, and I see several of you to be there tomorrow for the big session on Research Policy Forum. It's a forum that's going to focus on the Nexus approach. We will have a lot of outsiders as well coming for that session. So hope to see all of you there. As usual, registration starts at 8:30. Most of you are registered, so I don't think you need to re-register.
For online participants, maybe they can also register.
Yeah,
there's a link.
So there's a link, and please do register online, because unless you register, you cannot attend the session. It is only after you register for the online participants specifically. So hope to see all of you tomorrow. And there was a survey that I had sent out. I hope you have done some pre-thinking and some of you have inputted into that survey, as many of you, because that will help us get more warmed up for the breakout that we planned during that session.
It's very clear. Just meet no answer, no money, no dinner. Okay. So that's it. Okay, I think.
Yes.
Let's take some break and see everyone at the
38th floor
38th floor
ballroom.
We're gonna have a big group photo there. Don't change your dress yet on the traditional dress. It's very important for us to show our culture. So that you can now start relax. Okay. Thank you. Yeah.
So see you at 6.